Alrighty, looks like we're live. Welcome everyone to another Properties in Beers. Today we're going to be chatting about debt, co-living, and the decision that separates investors from speculators. A little bit more about me. If you haven't been here before, I'm Gaurav Gupta, CEO and founder of Ethical Property Investments. We help everyday Aussies just like you build high cash flow, ethical property portfolios that do good and make money. Because wealth isn't just about how much you have; it's about how intentionally you build it. And tonight, we're going to deep dive into two critical conversations. Number one, good debt versus bad debt, and why your relationship with money might need a reset. It's a lesson I learned when I was 16, and it's a powerful lesson I've taken with me since. And number two, what to watch out for in co-living investments, including why many might actually be falling over. Now, if you've been here before, welcome back. And if it's your first time here, welcome. We start the day off with a bit of a beverage. So here we go. What are we doing today? We're having Bolter Cerveza. Some people may have seen this. This is the good old. It's the analogy on the Corona. It's the Aussie version. Sorry, there it is. Trying to get the words out of my mouth. It's the Aussie version of Corona. So let's give it a go. Let's crack open a new bottle. I've been getting complaints recently, Goro, you're not doing enough beers and properties and beers. You should be turning into properties and spirits. But I thought let's actually get some beers back into properties and beers. So cheers, guys. Have a great time. Oh, it's very Corona-like. It's 95% like a Corona. For those that haven't tried it, bit of lime, lemon would go down well with it. It's a bit like Corona and a Forex had a bit of a baby. It's interesting. And where is it from? So Bolter, I believe, is Melbourne, part of the Asahi Beverage Company, Queensland. No wonder it tastes like Forex. So it's like a Queensland favorite. Now, if you're watching, you know the deal. Drop me a question, drop me a comment. I'm more than happy to add value wherever I can. So let's chat about good debt versus bad debt and use it or be used by it. So I believe your house isn't just an asset, it's actually making you poorer. Now let's clear this up. Not all debt is created equal. Good debt is debt that helps you buy income producing assets, effectively properties that pay you. Bad debt fund your lifestyle and liabilities, things that you lose value and drain your future. So here's the thing about debt. If you're looking at good debt, it makes you money. Bad debt loses you money. That's a simple way to think about it. And the rich go into debt to get richer. The poor go into debt to look rich. Sorry, some of that stuff was coming up. Now, here's the thing. I see a lot of people scared of debt. I believe if you're scared of debt, you're playing the wrong game. And the fear of debt is why many hardworking people just can't get ahead. And I believe Robert Kiyosaki from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad said it best. Good debt buys assets that make you money. Bad debt buy liabilities that drain it. And if you haven't read that book yet, regardless of your thoughts of Robert Kiyosaki as a human being, I suggest you pick up the book. It was a powerful book that was gifted to me when I was very young, in my late teens, and it completely changed my relationship with money. So let's break it down. Credit card debt for a holiday, bad debt. A car loan for a luxury you can't afford, bad debt. A well-structured investment property that cash flows positively from day one, well, that's a rich dad's kind of debt, right? So let me give you a debt case study, right? And let's say you purchase a $700,000 property. You put in like a $70,000 deposit, a 10% deposit. That means your $70,000 is controlling a $700,000 asset. Now, if that property grows by an average of 5% for the year, which is actually below the median growth for Australia over the last 30 or so years, but let's say you have a slow year and it only grows by 5%, that's a $35,000 gain on paper. And here's the kicker. If you do your actual ROI, that's a 50% return on your money. And that is the power of leverage and good debt. So I believe if you're not understanding debt, you probably need to get an understanding of debt even better. And don't be afraid of debt. Now, I call bad debt mortgage, right? By the way, those that don't understand what the word mortgage means, break it down it's a French word, to engage until death. Sounds like fun, right? Who wants a mortgage? And that's why last week I covered rent vesting. So if you wanted to look at that a little bit deeper, I suggest use your money where you can with good debt, and use your good debt then to pay your bad debt. There's nothing saying, hey, don't have these luxuries in life. It's good to have some of these luxuries. They drive us to do more, to be more, to live life the best way we can. But my suggestion is use the good debt to create the income so you can take on the bad debt, so to speak, because bad debt can actually enhance your life. What a concept, right? So look, here's the question, right? Here's the power of leverage. Would you take on $500,000 in debt if it could make you $2 million? Of course, like, leverage is a double-edged sword. And that's exactly why I prefer to using that with property and not the stock market. You can't touch it. You get to rent it. You get to improve it. And more importantly, you can bank on it. And as Albert Einstein said, compounding interest is the seventh wonder of the world. He who earns it let's start that again. As Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the seventh wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. And that's what makes the best investors not afraid of debt. They actually become masters of it. Now, here's the thing. If it doesn't put money back in your pocket, it's not good debt. It's a liability dressed up as success. So the key, I believe, is to use good debt to acquire assets that really pay for your lifestyle and not the other way around. So if you're looking at doing things, I've seen people get personal loans or even redraw against the equity in their own home to go on holidays. Hey, I don't know. I'm not giving you financial advice. I don't pretend to be one on here. That might not be the best thing to do for your life, because the ideal strategy is, without getting into financial advice, what I've seen this most successful people do, they make investments happen, and then they use that investment to buy their splurges. And there's nothing wrong with splurging. I'm using a barefoot investor analogy here. There's absolutely nothing wrong with splurging. And I believe we all should splurge, but we should do it right way. We should take the income from our investments and use it to splurge. And by the way, you business owners who are splurging with your business income, guess what? You're taking away money from your future wealth. I believe, as a business owner, and this is my strategy, what I personally do, I take money out of the business, put into wealth creation with those wealth concepts such as cash flow positive properties, take it out, and then I go on my holidays. And I use points wherever I can. For those that don't know how it's done. Any questions about good debt versus bad debt? I know that brings up some fear sometimes in people, right? A lot of people want to take on the good debt versus bad debt, and especially when you're younger, the thing is, let's get into our own property. But I talked last week about rent vesting. Rent where you want to rent, and live and invest where the growth is good. That's what you should be doing, in my personal opinion, and that's what a lot of smart investors do. Once again, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not pretending to be one on here. Just some thoughts. I'm going to have some more of the beverage before I go into the next topic. Now, I am going to go into something that I've been raving about for the longest time, right? So, which is co-living. And here's the thing about co-living investments. There's a way to spot the real from the hype. I believe co-living is a fantastic Sorry. Before I go further, my microphone came off. I was so passionate about this. I believe co-living can be a great concept, but only in the right hands, in the right places. Now, what I'm seeing out there right now is actually a surge of co-living projects being marketed to really first-time and more investors who aren't necessarily educated in this space. And that's the problem. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Yeah, I mean, just yesterday, I saw some things that were marketed as guaranteed co-living in a regional area with a letter. When I Googled who that letter was from, that person never existed. So that's one concerning thing. If you see a co-living with a guarantee, run the other direction, right? Because usually what that means is that they're going to oversupply that location, and all the locations already built up with co-livings, and there are some really unrealistic guarantees out there. I won't talk about this particular guarantee I saw. Let's just say there's no way in hell anyone would stand by that rental income that was put out there by a company that had been around for maybe 2 or 3 years. I'm not going to talk about it any further. I don't like to say something about other people without knowing the truth. But I looked at that deal and it just didn't make sense. And so if you're investing in co-living without local knowledge or experienced partners, you're really gambling, not investing. And here's the thing. Would you buy a model that looks perfect on the brochure but has no one living in it or very few living in it? That's what's happening out there. Here's what we're seeing. There are co-living suburbs already saturated due to developer marketing and not tenancy demand. Guarantees that look safe but collapse under pressure, and investors left with high vacancy and broken promises. The smart investors ask, who's already done this? What do they know that I don't? Here's the questions, right? You need real experience in co-living implementation, local insight into zoning, demand, and provider relationships, and a strategy that's about impact and not just yield. Not every suburb, I believe, is built for co-living, and not every investor is ready for what it takes. So if you're the kind of investor that's looking for a guarantee, especially in the co-living space, you might want to have a look at your strategy. I believe guarantees are not usually worth the paper they're written on. And I keep going back to it. If you're the kind of investor that will not invest without a guarantee, maybe see if investing is right for you, because everything in life is variable. Crossing the road is a variable, right? And there's no guarantee that crossing the road is safe. But the way we guarantee it is that by looking left and right and by doing our due diligence that, hey, maybe crossing the road is safe or is not safe. That's ourselves. And I encourage you as investors to do your own due diligence. And here's the thing. What we do is we guide our clients one-on-one because we built these before. We know what works. We know where it fails. And we know that custom always wins over cookie cutter. I believe overmarketed, underoccupied, that's the co-living trap. We are here. I was going through something amazing there. Let's go through it again. I believe that overmarketed, underoccupied, that's a co-living trap we're here to help you avoid. Now, if you want to explore this space, amazing, but do it right away. We don't do packages. We don't do blind guarantees. We just do real data, real experience, and real strategy, because that, my friends, is what wins and what sets this apart. So before I get to the next step, any questions, guys? If you're here watching, drop me a question. More than happy to answer it. Really good. I wouldn't mind some more of this. So here are my closing thoughts. There are two types of investors: those who avoid debt and choose safety but stay stuck, and those that use good debt, follow strategy, and create true freedom. These are the two ways to approach co-living. Follow the noise and hope for what's best, or partner with experts who have done it before and know what to avoid. Those are the things. And this is Properties and Beers, where we help you cut through the noise, build with integrity, and always, always, always lead with purpose. Do good, make money, and repeat. Cheers to that, guys. While you're online, we've finished the formal portion of today's session. Any questions, drop it in the chat. So if you're watching, howdy, how's it going? Thank you for being amazingly present today. And look forward to catching up with you guys again. Have a great week and see you next week. Same bat time, same bat week. Have a fantastic long weekend to those that are having a long weekend.